a Saturday, Senor Hector.
That's right.
What's new with you, Dougie?
I was gonna ask. I didn't even check. Am I focused up here?
You look fucking
looking
beautiful.
We were playing with new angles here.
Yeah, we are.
People like watching this. We're getting ready for trying to increase our social media presence.
Yeah, we're trying to get the right framework.
Hopefully
son.
this helps. I mean, you looked into this. I don't know if this is a thing or not.
Yeah,
it makes
guys,
sense.
It works.
Makes sense.
It checks out.
But, anyways, big news for the week, man. It's kind of been the same as last week in terms of like the big news. So we're not going to cover it again. But Ukraine's still a thing. Gas prices still a thing. All that. Everything we talked about last week is still
the same.
Still the same. Something we didn't talk about last week that we could have, but I guess we didn't, was the Pete Davidson Kanye little fiasco there.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit's it makes sense because Kanye he had that new documentary that came out about him, right? And you were saying, keep going on what you were saying on that.
I mean, I watched the documentary recently. I just finished it. It's three part. I thought it was good because you could tell that this was actually filmed back in the day. Like, this was legit. This actually does go back, more than 20 years. Cootie, who was the producer, filmed him at his first ever, I think, public outing back in Chicago in like 1998. It was like Jermaine Dupri's party. Fucking like, this goes way back before he had any record signings, before he had ever rapped for anybody.
Yeah.
So
nappy hair and everything.
Yeah, everything, man.
Yeah.
Like that image when he's got like the glasses and shit, you're like, God damn, that was Kanye. So to see the progression of that Kanye to the Kanye that people see now is interesting because it 100% is an evolution.
Absolutely.
Of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's very clear. It's not. I don't think people would argue that the Kanye that we see now is just another version of the one we saw before. Like, it's very clear that it's a different person.
Yeah.
Right. I think myself that a big portion of that change was his mom. So his mom being there for him, being around at the beginning, and then being such a strong presence for him in a lot of different ways. As a parental figure, right? As a mother, because she was a single mother raising Kanye for most of his life.
Yep.
And also as like the support that she gave to him, almost like in a friend capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knew all his songs by heart.
Yeah.
Like, she would fucking sing along, rap it. Like, she was in the studio with people. She was there at public outings with him and all this stuff. So to see how much an effect she had on him.
Hit that shit, boy. Damn, son, you got to do this on the first try, bruh. Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake, indeed. And to then Kanye losing his mom.
Yeah.
That was big. I think that's bigger. That was bigger for him than people realize, how much of an impact that made. Losing his mom when he did, right before he reached like super stardom, and then going through the shit that he's been through in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Pass me that. I'll fix it for you.
All right, thanks, bro.
I'll fix it for you, and I'll say some shit.
The professor here.
Me personally, man, I haven't watched all three. Not gonna lie.
Which one did you?
I watched the first 7 minutes of the third one.
Okay, so first two and like a little bit of second.
Yeah,
I got you.
And I'm gonna be honest. I skimmed through the first. It was pretty fucking boring first two.
Okay.
Like just my problem is I have if I don't have a fascination about the person or the product, it's very hard for me to tune in.
Were you ever a fan of his music?
He's made
a lot of music.
Here and there. Like,
he's made a lot.
I'll give you an example. If he had like 10 albums, right? So and he had 10 songs in every album, I might have liked 5 songs
in total.
Interesting. The reason I say this is because he's gone through this whole motion, and you can clarify for this whole motion of, church and stuff like this, right? To be a man of God and stuff like that. And you know what? As a guy who cannot be a man of God, not because I don't believe, but because I just physically cannot do these things that, organized religion says is being decent and moral and all that factors. He actually is acting towards Pete Davidson in a childlike manner that's almost the opposite of somebody who's trying to be a man of God. So you can't make these albums and provoke the minds of your listeners and say, oh yeah, you have to be this and this, and we have to do this. And he does these interviews that are like supposedly motivational or something. You've seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but in actual action, he'll go up to Pete Davidson and text him and say, I don't know if you've seen these texts. Have you seen these texts?
I saw the screenshots that I think one of Pete Davidson's producers took a screenshot of, because it was Pete Davidson's screenshot of him and Kanye going back and forth.
Yeah.
And then that was put up on Instagram for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you saw his responses to him, right?
Mhm.
Like he's calling him skeet and stuff like this. Like,
yeah.
dude, bro, if you're a man of God, you're not going to be like this. If you're a man of God and your wife cheats on you, what do you do? What do you do, Hector? If you're a man of God, right, actual man of God, and your wife cheats on you and bounces, right, which is not what happened. But
yeah, I was gonna say that's not
what
happened.
But let's
here.
say that's worst case scenario, right? Cheats on you, then bounces. What do you think you're gonna do?
Just in general,
No. Like, how are you gonna react to that situation?
not good. Obviously,
As a man of God.
yeah. This was as a man of God.
Yeah.
I mean, as a man of God, you're supposed to. I mean, at that point, that's actually a bit different. Like, man of God is like things, but anyways, you're supposed to like forgive and like not forget, but forgive everyone. That's the whole point. No
Okay.
matter what happens,
Okay.
that's how you're supposed to react. Is like
Right.
in a loving capacity.
Right.
Always.
Imagine you tell a girl after she leaves and takes her money. I don't know if she took his money or not.
No.
No, right?
They're not divorced yet. I don't think. I think they're still separated legally.
Okay, so she's gonna take his money,
We'll see.
right?
Who
Because
knows?
he makes more money than her.
Probably had a prenup.
He'd be dumb if he didn't.
I mean, that was he talked about it years ago in one of his songs, but who knows if he followed his own advice.
That's what I'm saying. The hypocrisy going through this is what turns me off from his music and turns me off from his personality.
It's interesting you say that, because he's literally only had one album where he really talks about God.
Sure,
That's
but,
Jesus is King.
and isn't that the most recent album?
No, it's not.
So he does no, like, his new music. I've listened to it, and there's some God references.
There have always been some God references in most of his albums.
Okay.
Like even in his very first, Jesus Walks. That was literally his first. Like everybody knows Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
That's his just walks. Yeah, Jesus walks with me. That was his very, very, very first album, right? And throughout most of his albums, he's always had something, little bit. It's never been fully like out there, right? Like he'll have gospel choir singing and like providing backing tracks and shit like that. But his music, his lyrics, stuff like that, has never been really about that. I think that when he lost his mother, it had a bigger impact on him than people realize.
Yeah.
Mentally. For some people, they go through like a period of grieving and then, whatever, they come out of it or whatnot. And during that period of grieving, like they're different. They're more down. Like it's natural, right?
Yeah.
I think with him, parts of his brain actually broke. Like
Okay.
there were actual changes in his brain that just changed for the worse.
Permanently, you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there was an interesting part in the documentary where I think it was the producer, because he's like narrating in the background.
Yeah.
And he was mentioning that at the beginning when he kind of started getting bigger. This is right before she died. He was like, as Kanye grew bigger, I noticed that he wanted to keep his mom around more and more. So it was almost like Kanye himself realized that he wasn't capable of managing this stardom
By himself.
Yeah, by himself,
Right.
and the increased influence it was going to have on him. He saw that he couldn't handle that by himself.
The pressure and stuff.
Yeah, everything, right? He saw that maybe whether he would just, crash and burn, whether he would break down. Who knows what he thought was actually going to happen, but
Yeah.
it seemed pretty apparent that's how he felt, because he always wanted to keep his mom by his side. And when she left, when she died, he just fucking off a cliff. You can see it in his music, the lyrics, the stuff that he talks about. It's just, it's tough, man, to see it, because you listen to some of these songs and you're like, damn, this guy's going through some shit.
Yeah.
Does that take away from his musicality? Some people say yes, some people say no.
I
right?
don't. I don't think you can associate somebody's personality and personal decisions with their music skill or creativity. It's two separate things. So just because, let's say you're Hector, you're gifted in some creative way.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say it's podcasting or whatever. Right. You make it to stardom somehow. Right. am I gonna hate you because you had 6 divorces and you're a little bit of a maniac? Not at all. Why the fuck would I care?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
make interesting podcasts, right? And I think people should stop putting these people on a pedestal, because if you really think about it, right, these are singular people that are treading water and are treading well in a Hollywood scene that's extremely toxic.
Yeah.
That environment is terrible. So, given that they do act up and they do these things, do I understand where they're coming from? Sure. Yeah. Do I expect these people to be stable in any way?
Yeah.
No, not at all. These people aren't psychologists and, academics. Most of these guys are like dropouts and people who are extravagantly creative and made a career out of that. Now, why would I go judge them? How does that help them or me?
That almost reminds me of kind of what happened recently with we had good old Nelk boys do podcasts with Trump. Right?
Yeah.
Full Send. Shout out to Full Send.
Let me break this down. So these Canadians, they went to Trump, right? That's where they went, right?
They went to Mar-a-Lago, which is Trump's golf resort in Florida.
Right. And they beautiful fucking wood panels.
Dude,
Jesus.
If you ever see photos of the whole resort, it's insane. It's
beautiful.
It screams old money everywhere.
Oh, old money's nice, huh?
Marble floors, wood backing,
good grout work.
clean lines.
Right, always smells like fucking high end lemon pledge.
Yeah, and then fucking gold trim.
Oh,
handlebars. You know what I mean? It's that's the kind of vibe that Mar-a-Lago has.
They got that rhino fur and shit. These guys, what happened was they actually interviewed Trump and they said something along the lines of, they were asking him about
a bunch of questions,
everything, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So they're asking him about exactly Russia and would this Ukrainian invasion ever happen if the possibilities were that Trump got elected for the second time, and given that his relationship with Putin, would it actually have continued in a way where this actual war would have happened? And Trump was kind of guaranteeing that it wouldn't have, right?
I think that's giving him a lot of credit. Do you remember what he actually said?
I mean, yeah.
It wasn't much of a fucking answer.
Sure.
All right, you're giving him more credit than I think you should.
But
sure.
The point of this story is, you ever watch late night TV anymore? Don't lie to me.
I never actually watched, but what I would do a lot, I used to watch clips on YouTube.
Okay.
Because they would cut clips.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
But because of ABC and stuff. And
well, because I just didn't have cable.
But do you know why those clips are popular in the first place?
Well, because they're accessible.
No.
100% they are. What,
no.
You're going to stay up until midnight to watch some fucking guy talk for half an hour to watch 2 minutes of good stuff? That's how I felt anyways.
You're missing what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that... I'm saying, why do you think that these clips are promoted on YouTube?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. The actual fact is that ABC and Google are interlinked. And this is why they get that cross promotion.
Okay.
Because their actual viewership is minuscule compared to new age generation. When we look at YouTube videos and we're like, okay, this many millions of video or views, those guys don't get the same kind of punch, man. I'm telling you, late night TV and those Nelson boxes or whatever the fuck they're called. In the states, there's
Nielsen ratings.
Yeah, Nielsen ratings.
Yeah.
So all that shit's baloney, bro. That stuff's so inaccurate because it's not through a database design or it's basically someone who has the box and they're keeping track of if they're watching this and how long they're watching this. Dude, a lot of people just leave their fucking TVs and bounce.
Sure, fair enough.
But anyway,
I get what you're saying.
Moving ahead.
It's less accurate than because internet analytics are way more accurate. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I see what you're saying.
Thanks for that. I need that. But basically, Kimmel was talking shit on Trump and saying, why the fuck is he saying all this shit
and talking to these guys
while there's a war going on. What the fuck is Trump supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like go to fucking Ukraine with fucking Lomachenko and the Klitschko brothers and start swinging? We all know this guy has small hands. He'd be missing. Plus, the guy's like 75 years old. What the fuck do you expect?
He's going to be like that 80-year-old man who showed up with a fucking briefcase and a suit saying, I want to enlist. That's what they want.
Bro, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, too much.
Kimmel, I think, is just, he's too rich and he's lost touch of like what's going on.
A lot of these guys are, it's
the Ellen effect. That's what I don't call it.
I think.
The Oprah effect.
I think these guys, these talk show hosts, think that they are bigger than they are. I think that's 100% true.
Well, they're dated now, right?
No, well, yeah, but they don't. I don't say they don't know it, but they don't quite believe it yet.
Do you think it's them, or do you think it's the whole production team, bro?
Well, it's because it's everything. Because think about it, a YouTube video. I mean, shit, we're filming a YouTube video right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, this is a bit more investment than some people, right? We got a fucking nice mics, decent cameras.
Nothing compared to a production.
No, but
team.
hold on. But I was gonna say this is still way more than than the minimum required.
Yeah.
The minimum required for a YouTube video
laptop.
is no, just a cell phone.
Yeah.
We can upload right now, record a video, send it to YouTube, and we have uploaded a YouTube video. But for production TV, hundreds of thousands of dollars are required just to get like a small piece of shit talk show from fucking Muskoka, Ontario.
Muskoka, I like that.
For fucking half an hour. You know what I mean? It's I know. Much more money, time, and resources invested to get some piece of shit show going that may or may not be seen by not that many people.
Yeah.
Versus a YouTube video takes, honestly, the barrier of entry is nothing. Nothing.
Dick.
And anybody can do it. There's no qualifications required. A kid off the street can do it.
Bro, if there was qualifications, would I be here?
Right? But a kid off the street can record something, upload it, and become a viral superstar overnight.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And so I think what these talk show guys are having a hard time reconciling in their heads is, how do we give these people credibility when I myself have spent so much of my career trying to establish credibility in this media, in this production world, right? It's almost like they can't get over their own ego and accept these creators as actual content like media producers.
Yeah, they look down on them for sure.
Right? And I think that's the reason why these guys keep shitting on like that Nelk Boys thing. I think was totally uncalled for, because calling them like doofuses and what the fuck, and just basically like shitting on them without actually because I mean that's the other part too, is like talk show, it's cable networks. You can't actually shit on them that bad. You can't say, fuck these clowns, or there's a limit to what you can say, right? Yeah. That's what it's not like saying like doofus, like what does that mean? But he's trying to basically take away their credibility.
It's if I was a producer, or if I was somebody in charge of who says what, as far as the Jimmy Kimmel show, okay, the last thing I would say is address this, because this actually brings you down in all sorts of ways, and it raises them up in every single way. Whatever they say, which they actually said, I'm not going to quote them, but I'll say something similar to what they said. They basically said, like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well,
but in a very polite way that it actually made them look way better.
Not only that, but what was that shit? All publicity is good publicity. No such thing as bad publicity.
If Jimmy Kimmel is using you as part of the show,
dude, could you imagine
if fucking made it, son.
Imagine if he like shat on us for like a couple of nights.
I would shit on him back.
No, but like forget about shitting on him back. It's like, holy shit, this guy shit on us. Now millions of people are seeing that we're being shit on.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like I would try to provoke him, so I keep getting this, right? Why would I stop?
Yeah.
If some dummy wants to fucking give me free promotion on a show,
please do.
I'm gonna shit on you and your whole ancestry. That's the whole fucking point, man.
That reminds me of that. What is that? Remember that Arab comedian I was talking about that I showed you, Muhammad?
Yeah, Muhammad.
And then he's like talking like in Arab, one of the insults. It's like basically like not only fuck you, but like fuck you and your entire like lineage or something. Yeah,
fuck your ancestry.
Yeah.
That's what. And it's looking rough. Bro. I don't want to go into this more than a minute.
No, it's okay.
But all I want to say is
talk about something else really quick. I remembered something off that, so go ahead.
All I want to say is they can't get it done. You could push for that 8 spot, but what I would do is actually cut the season short, so I don't have to put like.
Do you think they're gonna get that 8 spot? Do you think? I'm not saying that whether they will.
No,
Okay.
27 and 20. I think they're 29 now because they won 2 games.
Are they 500?
No,
Oh fuck.
29 and 40, bro. 29 and 40, bro. How can you call yourself anything? Like, how can even LeBron? Like, how can you call yourself anything?
How are people paying to watch this shit?
Not only that, but like they're selling out. I don't know if you've paid attention.
Of course
to the
they are. Yeah.
Lakers have been selling out like I think 90% of the year.
Of course, it's the Lakers.
And they not only do they sell out, but like let's say they go to an organization like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that game's selling out.
That game's selling out too because of Lakers, right?
Yeah, that's star power is what that is.
That's star power. It is what it is. But you know what's also funny? These owners actually base these salaries predominantly on star power.
Jesus.
Because if you really think about it, why the fuck would I pay you if you're getting 30 points but nobody's coming and watching you get 30 points? But if you're getting 10 points and those 10 points, 1,000 people are watching it, I'm going to pick you. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
The Lakers thing that you brought up reminded me that I was seeing something on YouTube about how lately, I don't know if you've been paying attention to like games here and there. I haven't been paying too close attention, but I've been hearing shit. Guys are going off right now. Like 40 bombs, 50 bombs, 60 bombs. So this video is trying to explain why. Because at the beginning of the season, no one was doing shit. Like a lot of the top 10 players from the previous season couldn't get it going. They were struggling. Harden was struggling.
Yeah.
Kyrie wasn't playing, but John, like everyone was struggling.
Everybody.
I think the only player who wasn't was Trae Young.
And
Doncic.
No.
Not even Doncic.
Memphis, who's number 12.
Oh, Morant. Yeah, Ja
Morant.
Yeah.
Fucking killing in that kid.
And so I think the first 50 bomb game happened after like 2.5 months into the season. And then the second one happened a month and a half after that.
Yeah.
In this month alone, there have been 8.
Yeah. No, I could see it.
It's insane. And so what the guy's theory was 2 things. One was that he believes that these guys going off on each other is almost that. Going off on each other. Where it's like, all right, you did a 50, I'm going to do a 50. You did 50, I can do 60. You did 60, I can also do 60. So they're like doing it almost like as like a one-off thing. It's like, okay, I can do it. The other reason, or think that this guy was theorizing, was that these guys who are dropping these crazy games, if they wanted to, they could do this way more often. Like if Durant really wanted to, he could probably average 40 points for a season.
I don't.
The zero doubts in this guy's mind, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying this is true or not, but he's like, if these guys really wanted to, they could.
Right.
However, he brought up the Jordan example. Jordan in the late 80s, like before he won his first ring, there was like a season or two where he was dropping a lot. Like there was one season he dropped 40 points a game for 12 games out of 14 games. Insane.
Okay.
He's averaging basically 40 for like 15 games straight.
Okay.
But he stopped doing that because he realized that wasn't actually helping him win basketball games.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. Your
Diminishing
teammates are pissed, right? Because they're not fucking playing. They're like, why the fuck am I here?
Yeah, you're hitting like 40 field goals.
Exactly. You're taking your usage rates of game with exactly. You're hitting 40 and like, what the fuck? What's the point?
Yeah, you're hitting 50% field goals.
And then it's not sustainable is the other one.
It's not.
So the guys have the ability, these top 10 guys in the league have the ability to do this shit, but they will never do that all the time because it just makes no sense. They won't win that way. And that's why they don't.
Okay.
I just found that interesting.
Yeah. There's another interesting thing. I don't know if you've used to swim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. What was your stroke?
I was butterfly.
I was long stroke, daddy.
Long stroke. Long stroke on the backstroke.
That's right. It always looked like a little shark fin coming up.
Yeah.
But there's this transgender male to female.
Leah Thomas.
Yeah, Leah Thomas. You seen this one?
Oh, of course, man.
Yeah.
Bro, everybody who I swam with was talking about this shit.
So this is fucking hilarious. So
ridiculous.
This is where feminism fails us, right?
Well, this is feminism would never fight for this Leah Thomas person. FYI.
No, not Leah Thomas, but actually like this new wokeness.
Sure. Yeah,
I'll
give you that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yes.
And a lot of that is actually like transitions to some feminism, right? There's definitely a gray line there, and all I want to say is this is fucking bullshit, dude.
No,
How the fuck are you gonna?
They gotta change this.
They're breaking other female records consistently.
This whole specific one with Leah Thomas and the record is fucked for a lot of different reasons. And I think that over time, and I mean like short term, the powers that be, so the governing sporting bodies, are going to have to put some real fucking thought into this. Because it's about to hit them in the face way more.
Right.
Because for every Leah Thomas, there's going to be a lot more people that are thinking about this situation, like to do this themselves. Okay. The Leah Thomas one was messed up for a few reasons. One was she was already, when she was a man, she was already an NCAA swimmer.
Yeah, he was like 487 or something.
So she was already
he was
swimming at a high level.
Yeah, okay.
And as you said, 246 rank over
487th ranked.
No, it was 246.
Bet?
I don't want to bet, but it was like around there.
Okay.
To go from that to then immediately number one, and not only number one, but number one breaking records.
Breaking world records.
Says, well, no, not world, but college records. But yeah, it says a lot.
Okay.
Says a lot. So, because think about it in your mind, you're like, shit, if this person who was ranked that low transitioned and became a record-breaking champion, think about how many more people could do that and just totally fucking throw that division of the sport off balance.
So is it 280 or 480, whatever, out of what?
Like out of everyone that's swimming in the collegiate level.
Which is,
bro, honestly, I would say like 1,000, maybe.
1,000?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
So
could be less. Could be 500.
So in the nation, that's still pretty good.
In the nation, it's good, but it's not great.
No, it's not great to be like, Michael Phelps or anything
think
like
about
that.
It this way.
But
the point is, you're 246 to 1. You have 200, we'll use that 246 number for now. You have 245 people in front of you that if they wanted to could do the same thing and beat all your records at the same time.
Yeah.
And that will push everybody who's already in that division down and out potentially to the point where it becomes meaningless for them to even compete because there's no space for them to compete.
Right.
So I think what these governing bodies have to take a really hard look at themselves and be like, okay, either we got to fix this shit somehow.
Yeah.
Either we make a new division just for transgender athletes, or we put some better rules in place with better science. Right?
Yeah.
So if you transitioned when you were 15 and you never competed in sports, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the answer is, but they got to do something because this shit is fucked.
Another thing is, I was looking at the actual body mass index.
Oh yeah.
Difference between like an actual female that's biologically born female.
Yes.
And a male that turns into a female, and it's totally off.
Right? Oh, for sure.
Even if their hormone levels are changing, it doesn't change the bone structure. It actually helps the bone structure, like maintain bone.
Yeah.
Estrogen actually helps that, and there's a lot of central nervous system that is better and stronger on men, like reaction time. There's a lot of that. So if you're in a sport, whether your hormones go up and down, your central nervous system doesn't really change. So that being said, these guys have the same reaction time and the same form and the same everything as when they were male, and then they're competing as females. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. What you would have to do is make two separate divisions. One that go from female to male.
Yeah.
And one that go from male to female, because you can't even if you think the guy that went from a guy to a girl and competes in swimming, and the girl that went from being a girl into a guy competes with swimming, if they race, who do you think wins?
Oh, obviously the one who was a man before.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Not even close.
Of course
not even close. And that's something that we're not considering. That's the main factor. Is that the central nervous system and the bone structure is completely
honestly,
different.
man, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the actual answer is, but someone's got to figure fucking something out.
Because you have to separate them.
As it is right now, shit's not working. And the only reason they've been getting away with it for this long is because there haven't been enough athletes doing this.
Yeah.
Doing this transition and actually going through with it. But the more that they do, the more it's going to fuck up your sporting divisions.
I have never seen any. I've actually heard of this maybe like 10 to 15 times. People transitioning in sports. I've never seen it not be beneficial for them.
Oh yeah, I don't think
because there was a couple of tennis players.
Probably the female to male transition, because when you compete with the other men, you're not going to be as good.
But predominantly the ones you hear are
oh, for sure, 100%, yeah. And
male to
and in
female.
Those situations, it's like every time.
Every time. They're just way better too.
It's not even close.
And this brings me back to the old, we saw the old shit. As much as we want to be civilized, we actually take steps to be uncivilized.
Okay.
For example, the whole cancel culture thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the idea is good, right? To get toxic people from that industry out.
Yes.
But in actual application, you go overboard. And this is the point that we've gone overboard with so many things. With Rogan, we went overboard. With this Trump shit, now we're going overboard. We just don't understand where the line is, and it's gonna skew that way, and then eventually we're gonna get to a spot where men are the most vulnerable, and we can't even make moves without being arrested. And what we say, and now is the time that we actually stand together and kind of not only fight this back, but also like just be logical. Like, dude, if every time I say something, I'm controlling in a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, like, why do you have 25 fucking guy best friends? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'm controlling. Like, bro, that's not healthy, man. And there's a reason why we have a decline in population, and there's a reason why it's going to become more scarce.
Many
and scarce.
reasons. I don't think it's a reason. I think it's many.
One of many, for sure.
Yeah.
Children, if we do have children, are they actually going to progress living in Western culture, or are they going to progress in back home? And I say this
interesting.
For this one reason.
You mean North American culture?
North American culture, or even UK culture, or even just Western culture in general.
Well, that's why I asked by North American, because technically South America is still Western culture. They're not Eastern. They're Western culture. They are.
But the general public wouldn't see it that way.
Yeah, they would.
Would they?
Yep.
Because I don't.
Okay, well, are you from there?
No, but
So then how do you say that?
They still have high... You're right.
That's what I mean.
You're right. Yeah.
That's what I say. I think you're more thinking of North American and some parts of European culture, but mainly it's North American culture.
Sure. Yeah.
You're really thinking of American culture.
Yeah, basically.
It's really what you're saying.
It's basically American culture.
Continue.
But that is kind of within other Western cultures as well.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Huge influence in Canada, for example.
Huge.
And big influences in other
everywhere else, yeah.
For a lot of countries in the Western Hemisphere.
So the reason I came up with this question is because of first, what's happening here is actually, I was looking at this article and it was showing all these graphs of, I don't know if you actually might have known, but Toronto, like 20 years ago, was like Vancouver now, where they were booming in construction.
Okay. I think you told me this actually.
Yeah,
you did.
They were booming in construction and they were building nonstop. Toronto went like fucking vertical and lateral, like horizontally,
crazy,
like, crazy, bro. Buildings, houses, farms, factories, whatever, and they hit a pinnacle where the cost of real estate was very high. And interest rates were also very high. We're talking like 6-7% interest rates. Right. And let's say somebody bought now, right? Just like this past COVID time, when interest rates were at 2% or 1.6, whatever the fuck they were.
They're pretty low.
Super low.
Yeah.
Right. And now I think they're. I was looking. It was 3.01 or something. There was a couple from Capital One and some other places. Scotiabank. Not bad, but that being said, people are only buying houses by a small fraction. More people are actually buying houses in, like, multiple families are buying one house now.
Okay.
That's more predominant because not a lot of people can actually one single family
Sure.
buy a house. Now, let's say the bank relapse and interest rates strike up. We're going to lose majority of people that can buy houses, and then even more so as the years go on, it's going to trickle down to everything else.
Yeah.
As far as commercial, as far as
Everywhere.
Just condos and
For sure.
in general.
Yeah.
It's going to make it really impossible for a kid that makes 80 to 100 grand to even buy an apartment eventually.
Yeah.
When an apartment's 1.5 million, good luck, buddy. Good fucking luck, because after taxes, that's 70 G's. Take out living costs. You're not really saving nothing, right? So that and the aspect of the toxic social media, I would say brainwash that's going on with constantly wanting to flaunt with things and material objects where they've completely lost sight of like true virtues of life in a way. They've completely thrown that aside and everything is material. Yeah. Now, as a guy that I'm also into the same thing, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm also saying like I'm in touch with that side as well, so I can kind of tear.
Right.
But how many of the younger generation, even younger than us, like when I talk to them, it's even scarier that way. And I would find that if I had kids by the time I'm like 40 or whatever, they're going to be even more skewed in that way.
Yes.
And over time, it's like, are we going to lose touch of the youth and the direction that they're going in a general sense?
It's a very interesting question, actually. I mentioned this before. We've talked about the effects of social media compared now versus before, because when we were born, we weren't born into this age, right?
No.
We grew with it later on, right? Facebook came out 2006. A lot of people started getting it a couple years after, so we were in like grade 9, 10, and when it really started to like gain traction.
8, 9.
And when it gained traction, Facebook then was still nothing like what it is now.
No.
There were no ads on Facebook back then.
And by Facebook, we mean Meta.
That's true. Yeah. There were no ads. I remember actually that was a big deal back in the day, whether or not Facebook was going to accept ad space on their page, because everyone was fighting against it, and then eventually they just did it anyways. And now it's just second nature. No one even questions it anymore. So kids are growing up in this age where a lot of these things to them are normalized because that's all that they know. Versus for us, we grew up in an age where we knew the difference, right? We knew what it was like not having it versus having it. So we can kind of see the effects of what it's doing, because we're like, wait, we remember what it was like without this shit. And now we see what it is with this.
Yeah.
Positive and negative, right? There's a lot of great things that come with social media that we never would have had before, that we have access to now. Being able to connect with people much quicker than before. Being able to access information, connect with other groups, form like whatever you want. Companies, form companies, form partnerships. Like there's so much more you can do now. It's the positives are there, but the negatives are there also. I think that it's going to be very important for us in our generation, so not just you and me, but people from our generation, to really push as much as possible to that next generation that there was a life outside of this. There was a life outside social media before.
We've talked about this.
Right? And I don't mean like drop your phone and go outside and have fun.
No.
Not some stupid shit like that, but be that bridge, right? Because
fucking deja vu. Fucking deja vu.
Probably.
Keep going.
Be that bridge of where you came from and where these kids are going to be going into, because we don't know where it's going to go in 20 years, 30 years.
Don't.
It could fucking totally blow up in people's faces, or it could not.
Yeah.
Who knows? But what is clear to me now, and I've seen this, is that amongst all the negative stuff that people associate social media with and our current political landscape and our current economy and everything that people kind of look down on life right now, I have seen people not only make the best of it, but come out pretty far ahead. And I don't just mean financially, but I mean from a personal development point of view. Like, I have acquaintances, I wouldn't call them my friends, but there's people that I've spent some time with that I know decently well that have done really great things, whether it's, starting companies that are giving back to the community, whether it's maintaining positive values on what they do day in and day out amongst all the shit they have to deal with. So I've seen these examples. So you're like, okay, I know it's possible. If they can do it, shit, you can do it too. There's no reason why you can't.
Right.
So taking all the great stuff that those people are doing and realizing, okay, if they did it, there's no reason why the next generation can't also do it. You just have to remind them and teach them that it is possible.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't see it, they may not know that it's possible, but you did. So be that gap to actually show them the way.
We've talked about this, and I've said these words that you've said.
No, well,
and I don't know which thing it was, but I remember that we got super baked.
Probably.
We went three or four joints deep.
Probably, yeah.
And I went on a tangent, and it was a tangent, and it was beautiful because I didn't stutter. I remember. That's what I remember. I went through this whole tangent about how we have to connect our parents' generation to this Gen Z generation, and we were balls deep, man. It was a good conversation. I do believe that we are the connecting factor. Absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. We're kind of the last night, or whatever the fuck you want to call us. We're the last sunrise, man. There's none of us left.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Like not to like toot our own fucking horn as a generation, but we really are the last generation that was born pre-social media age. Yeah. Right. And that's important. I don't think that's people can just gloss over that.
No, because kids right now grow up with a fucking iPad, and boom, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it from the moment that you can start remembering, you know, having actual memories. Yeah. That's what you think, and you don't know how your personality or how you are or how you just live a day-to-day life without this.
Yes.
I remember summers were so long. I remember having so much time on my hands that I was like, what am I going to do with all this time? Mm-hmm. After social media, I realized that I actually have no more time. And the reason is, anytime I look at my iPhone fucking analytics of how much fucking
time
screen time, what's yours?
Take a look right now.
Let's take a fucking look.
Pull it up. 3.5 hours in a day. That's like you watch.
You're right. I'm rolling past 12 hours, 37 minutes. Dude, 12 hours? Dude,
when
holy
was that?
fuck.
What day was that?
Listen to this. March 7th.
Put it up to the camera.
I was having a bad fucking day. March 7th.
Here, I got it.
Dude, look at this. Jesus. March 7th, man. Fucking 12:37. Go fuck yourself. Holy shit, dude.
That's crazy. My longest day. I'll show you what a long day is for me.
Fucking Christ, man. I got some of these days, bro.
4:40 on Friday, and I'll look for a better one. 5 on Thursday. Let's see. Oh, I had a really long day. Ooh, I had a long ass one on Wednesday.
Jesus Christ.
10 hours 30. That's a lot. Like I think it might be like personal best.
What's the most used app?
Telegram.
Telegram?
Yeah. Oh, actually, Teams counts on this shit. That's weird. That's work. I should be able to like disconnect that because Microsoft Teams is for work. That's different. I would say Telegram and Instagram, I think, are my two. Yeah, Telegram.
This guys be looking at fucking big booty hoes and shit.
Hell yeah. YouTube is another one, but that's weird because like this is your phone stuff, right? I watch a lot of YouTube on my computer.
Yeah,
a lot. If I could track that, that'd be interesting to see because you can see history, but I don't know if you can see like actual watch time.
Big ass Asian. That's all you see.
Or like the OG one back when you were like 13, like girls kissing.
Oh, dude, you know when you go through back in the day. I remember going through like my buddies' histories and shit because these guys were fucking absolute dummies on the computer.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of fucking goons, and just looking. It was just ridiculous, man. Like, you know, I remember being like 12, 13 years old and looking at my buddy's fucking shit, and it was like big boob black girls.
Oh, like how people would search? Yeah.
Or it'd be like
Boobs.
pussy.
Tits. Yeah, just like single words.
And it, a couple times I just clicked on like just pussy or boobs, and it was like an anatomy chart of the areolas and shit, and the whole breakdown of where the milk comes from.
When you see those like searches,
Yeah.
you realize how little you know. Like when you were searching, you're like, man, I knew shit about anything.
This is the thing,
Because that's as far as your creativity went. Boobs, ass.
What scares me is this. I actually talked to a few people with actual grids of what they check.
What do you mean grids?
Okay, so in software, there's a big emphasis on your interviews.
Okay.
Interviews everything. You could have a 70 passing grade and be a foundation engineer and
sure.
Be picked to be the biggest choice maker on a project, right? So that's really crucial.
Okay.
Now, what companies give out to their employees to look for if they know somebody with X amount of skills for that company are these grid sheets.
Yeah.
So through these grid sheets, there's like should haves, must haves, nice to have.
Oh, I see.
Right? And just a bunch of skills, right?
Okay.
There's two kinds of companies here. One kind of company that has so much income coming in that they can actually specialize for every little parts.
Interesting.
And usually those kinds of companies are, top tier companies. You know what I'm saying? Like top 100, tech companies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you'll have, family owned companies.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can say fuck shit, you can show up to work. You don't have to show up to work because now they with the high end companies, the corporate companies, you have these rules where you have to show up 2 days,
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And with the mom and pop companies, it's like you can show up never if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
You can work from fucking Croatia if you want to.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say shit because they are hungrier.
Yeah.
So now you have this transition of people going from Google and stuff like that to
these ones.
Because they also, if you live in Croatia, what they'll do is Google now won't actually pay
I heard
you.
about this.
Yeah.
They will like scale your pay based on where you're living.
Yeah. So
if all of a sudden you start working at Frisco and you decide to fuck off to Kansas City, they're like, all right, you're gonna get scaled.
Yeah. And that another reason why you want to go with startups, right? For that specific reason.
Yep.
So that being said, there's a lot of these companies where you're asked to do a lot more, but there's a flexibility in time,
right,
and a flexibility in income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be a founding engineer, you could do a short little BCIT program for a year, and make 150K if you want, because you have the abilities, right? Whereas with Google and stuff, well, yeah, it's amazing on your resume, but you got to show up to work.
Yeah,
you have to act a certain way. You have to be presentable.
That's true.
So there's all these negatives to it. What would you pick
between the two?
Yeah,
depends where I am in life. Right now, if I were just like start over and start like getting this life, kind of like what you are trying to do, I would probably go with the startup one. Because I know I have a higher risk tolerance for myself right now than I would in like 10, 15 years.
I think it's a gift to have pure being able to mediate risk in life. As you age, it's even better. People say, yeah, you might lose your whole life, you might lose all your finances if you risk too much, blah blah. Sure, but think about the people that have actually succeeded to an exponential level.
Yes,
they're all nuts. They're all specialists, absolute specialists. Nobody is jack of all trades, and
what's the flip side to that one is that for every nut who's ever made it like that, there's thousands of nuts who didn't make it, who did the same exact thing that these people who succeeded did, but just failed because the timing wasn't right for whatever reason.
But how hard is it to get a job making 80K?
No, that's not. But that's not like that's not that high of a risk tolerance. I'm talking like.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, okay, let's say you, Hector, right? You wanted to be a fucking whatever, right? You tried it now, right? You put in a good 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then one day, you either decide to keep going, or you say, hey, fuck all this shit. I'm gonna go back to fucking suck my dick pumps and work there for the rest of my life. What did you lose? What did you lose? You didn't buy a house right away when you were 28? What did you really lose? Right? Not much.
Yeah.
Worth it. But if you did some job that you fucking didn't like and you always wondered about what the fuck you could have done, your whole life, you're going to be 67, retired from that job and always hungry. Oh, what if I could have fucking done that? What if I could have done this? I just don't see a point. If you want to be exceptional and you actually want to be exceptional and you actually see like, man, I have to be an extrovert. I have to be funny. People have to like me and I have to make this work. And,
Yeah, sure.
and all these going against grid kind of patterns that you're going to have to do. If you're okay with all that, I'd say fucking do it, man. You're not losing much. You might not be able to buy the Benz when you're fucking 25. You might not be able to buy the fucking apartment when you're 25 and have a mortgage. But what if you make it? Right? The difference between you trying and you not trying is 10 years of finances. Give or take, right?
Sure.
I say go because it's not looking like this sustainable lifestyle of going to university and getting a degree or diploma or whatever. It doesn't seem like this is going to pan out in the long run, even for our generation. If the ratio of money that's earned becomes so scarce compared to the ratio of living costs and real estate.
Well, that's a bigger conversation in general, right? Because like before, the conversation used to be, do I stay with what I'm doing right now and stay comfortable and whatever, like that was kind of the feeling, or do I try and like make it? You know what I mean? That was the conversation where it's like, stay comfortable or make it. Now it's almost looking, and it's getting to the point of that first thing is no longer applicable to a lot of people. That being comfortable, like that's not even an option that they have.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's a different conversation entirely. Because before it was like, all right, you're comfortable, you got a cushion, just chill. Or send it, right? Fucking go for it.
Okay.
You might lose everything, but go for it.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, man, you were already comfortable. Now people are almost forced to do this kind of shit because they're not even in the comfortable place. They're already like, fucking got nothing to lose. Yeah. So may as well fucking do this kind of thing. Yeah. Right?
But the ratio is very bad here, but it's only getting worse.
And that's the thing, right? Like, that's why I said this is part of a bigger conversation because...
Did you hear they were saying it was 2051 that they were saying? They were saying if you make $20.51, that should be minimum wage because you can get...
Oh, like today?
Yeah, today.
Yeah, I can see that.
2051, dude, what kind of... Can you rent a place by yourself? No. You have to room.
Yeah, actually, let's see. How much is 2050? Let's do it math real quick.
2051 is
how many hours?
$800.
160.
$800
I'm doing per month. I'm doing per month.
Okay.
So 160.
Just do 52 weeks.
No, let's do it per month because monthly rent. Let's do less math. 2051, right?
Yep.
Times 40 times 4, 160. Oh shit. 20.51 times 160. 3281.
3281. That's
pre-tax.
Pre-tax. Post-tax.
Not much. They take less because like you're not making much. Let's say call it
$300.
I was gonna say a bit more. 400.
Let's go 500. 500.
2700.
2700
net.
Okay, 2700 net. You are fucked, sir.
You can make it. You are struggling,
dude. Like you either don't have you have a better place and you're by yourself like a studio.
What I'm saying is by yourself on this is doable, but man, you are stretching a budget.
You're stretching.
And some people do. I've seen it. Like if you're really careful and like whatever, calculated and very minimalistic, sure, that's a pretty realistic option. But for a lot of people that just want to have a fucking
wanna have fun,
regular, comfortable life, it's like this is not enough, right? Because you have to be watching every little like big purchase.
That's right.
Right? It's like you got to properly plan certain things because you're like, well, shit, of this 2,700, half is nuked on my rent right away. More than half for a lot of people. And that's on 20.
That's on 20.
That's on the 20. Minimum wage is 15.
That's crazy, bro.
That's a 25% cut on this.
I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't actually have
$2,000 a month, bro.
Minimum wage paying jobs. It's just you're better off studying. or learning a skill in that time that you're
What do
trying
you
to earn
do
that
if you
money.
don't have like support? What would you do?
There's government support right now.
Well,
You can go into
okay,
debt.
actually, let's do that to end that off.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who don't have family support?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll say they have like a minimal friend support, so maybe they can like lean on friends for like a few times in the month, kind of thing, whatever. So that they're not totally alone,
Okay.
but they don't have that constant. They can't go like live with parents and shit.
Yep.
What advice would you give them to kind of give them the best leg up in life starting out?
Starting out. So
Yeah.
how old am I here?
You're 19.
I'm 19 years old.
You're like 1 year out of school. Your parents,
Okay.
something happened.
What are my high school grades like?
They're above average, but not anything.
Did I
great.
make honor roll?
Not consistently.
Not consistently.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 3 terms.
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And this is honor roll, right? So like,
What am I good at?
uh,
Trades or academics?
well, if you're good at trades, that's the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
Get the fucking to trade.
Yeah,
Stop being an
okay.
idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, just go get your fucking ticket.
yeah.
Find a job. They'll sponsor you. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
No, let's say you're like academics is like your strongest of the
Okay.
two.
What subject?
Let's say not STEM. I'm gonna make this hard for you.
Okay. Not STEM.
not STEM.
Like you got to give me a subject. Though.
Anything but STEM. Could be arts. Could be any of the arts, whether it's actual fine arts, liberal arts, so like written, blah blah, whatever. Social skills are decent. Could be sociology. Could be caretaking, stuff like that.
And do I wanna risk it all or?
No, I'm saying you got to give this person advice.
This is very hard because
It is hard.
you have to pick.
I give you a hard scenario. Right?
You have to pick exactly what most people would want to do, and that's hard because I don't think I think like most people think. Now that could be wrong. However, if I was doing that, and I was in, what I would do is first thing I would do, 19, join the army.
Ooh,
I would join the army.
Interesting advice to start.
I would join the army. I would do a quick 2 years, a quick deuce.
Can you only do 2 years?
In this,
I don't think you can.
Let's say I'll go two ways. You can either do 2 or 4.
Oh fuck! Let's say reserves. I guess you can reserves are
Yeah.
more casual. Yeah. Okay.
So do 2 years. Actually, fuck it. Let's just go 4.
Okay.
Okay. Do my 4 years, and what do I do it in? Air Force.
Okay.
Okay. So I get my pilot license.
Unlikely.
Okay.
Extremely unlikely.
But doable.
Let's say not, because like that's almost impossible.
What do you mean?
To become a pilot in the Air Force, you were like percent of percent good.
But to be a Navy SEAL, you're even less of a percent.
Not really, man. Pilots is like almost as tough because there's not that many fucking planes. There's only so many planes
Yeah.
that you can fly.
Yeah, but the threshold of being a pilot is not as high as the threshold of like being a Navy SEAL captain.
Okay, now you just went one further. First you're like Navy
Do you
SEAL.
know why?
Now it's Navy SEAL captain. Like, come on.
Because these guys have to. These guys are hand-to-hand combat in a way.
That doesn't
Just put yourself in that.
put yourself in this. You're in charge of flying a $15 million fucking piece of
Yeah,
equipment.
and you got to go 8G. I'll
Yeah.
hold it in.
I'm sure you
I'll
won't.
hold it in.
Let's keep it consistent with the person we're describing, right?
Okay.
If this person was like above
I would,
average, but
okay, I would either do this. I would either.
I think
go,
you're on a good track.
I would either go Air Force if I can't do Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay. I would do.
Bro, honestly,
I would do something easy. I would do National Guard.
Stay there. Stay Air Force, but it doesn't have to be pilot. It can-
Sure.
Air traffic controller. There you go. Boom.
Sure. Air traffic controller. Boom. That's 120K. I'm making at YVR or whatever the fuck, wherever
Yeah.
the fuck I'm working, and then once I'm out at 24 or 23 years old,
Something else in management.
okay,
Yeah.
I continue to do this job.
Yeah.
Okay. As I'm doing this job, I pick a hobby, a passion project.
Yes.
Whatever the fuck I'm into. For us, it was, for me, it was comedy and fucking podcasting.
Yeah.
And for somebody else, it might be something else. Pick that. Then pick a physical hobby. A physical hobby that you're going to forever do. Jiu-jitsu, working out, swimming,
Running.
whatever the fuck
Sure.
it might be, right? But something that promotes longevity. But do not try to become an athlete full time. Do not. It's a waste because either you're gifted or not. And
Yeah.
if you spend too much time trying to be passionate about a sport, we have tons of friends that are just wasting time. And I'm not judging them. but I've been there where I thought I was gonna like do something with sports, and I realized that there's a huge line between like genetic freaks.
I still remember your Brandon Jennings story.
Yeah, genetic freaks.
When you realized,
right?
Back in high school.
And you know, regular immigrants trying to make it in the world.
Yeah.
Once I do that, I would just continue on until the last day that I do not need to work at this some air traffic control or whatever the fuck job that I did. But what that does is it actually sets me up for this passion project to live on my own, to be financially independent, and not to do things in my way, where like dealing drugs and shit like this in order to, you know, make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And taking these big risks, right, where they're not going to pan out. If you were just if I knew what I knew at this age, when I was like 17, I'm not saying everything would happen because there's the factor of laziness.
Sure.
But I think there'd be like a 6-year span where I would gain 6 years. So I would be where I am now at like
6 years ago. I understand.
22 years old.
That's more than 6, but okay.
28 minus 6.
Oh, I thought you were Persian age, 29.
Bro, this guy, man. This guy 29.
Every time.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I think that's actually really sound advice, man. That's probably the most well put together piece of advice I would have thought on the spot. Anyways.
It's hard to think about it because you're like, what does this person do? And then I realize I'm like, I can't say what this person does. I have to say what I think I would do because I can't.
No, but that honestly, man, like I said, I think that's actually very logical and very sound advice.
Bro,
because in the Army, Air Force, Navy, all these, there are so many more opportunities than people think. People think if you join the Army, you're given a machine gun and you're shooting people. People think that if you join the Air Force, you're given your wings and you're flying some crazy plane.
Especially if you're a girl.
People think that if you join the Navy, all of a sudden you're on a fucking submarine or you're on a ship all day, every day for the rest of your life. None of these things are necessarily true. If you join the Army, there are hundreds of support jobs and roles that you could do that don't involve you ever firing a rifle.
Yep.
If you join the Air Force, again, hundreds of different support positions that don't ever involve you thinking of, you know, flying and getting on a plane or a helicopter or whatever. You could stay grounded your entire life working in essentially an office job, working for the Air Force. Likewise for the Army, likewise for the Navy. And it's interesting to me to see this because I have friends who are actually doing these things we both have friends that are basically doing these support positions that we've said, and they're setting themselves up pretty fucking well for their future careers and their current careers because they have actual transferable skills that they can use when they leave the military and go into civilian life. Yeah. So it's actually really cool to recognize that as a real possibility because there's a lot of people that kind of struggle with like, shit, no options. Like, man, yeah, you probably still got some options.
There's a training stimulation in San Diego, and the reason I say I can handle that is because this training stimulation actually goes up to 7G, and you sit there.
Simulation.
Yeah. And what did I say?
Stimulation. Yeah.
Did I really?
Yeah.
I thought I said
twice.
simulation.
Yeah. Anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
And you hold onto this bar, and you strap yourself in, and you go through this, and it's like a chamber, and they record you, and then you can either buy it or whatever. Yeah. People would pass out at like 3, 4. There was this one fat chick. She had the neck of a troll. Okay. No neck. Yeah. Right. She did like 7Gs with ease. And what I noticed is the ratio of you being athletic, having a strong central nervous system, like being able to react to things, and having a fat ass neck. That really fucking helped. I did 6.7, and I just remember my eyes
could start to see
rolling back,
closing in.
And the other thing,
tunnel vision,
the breathing. It was like,
how were you told to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Because I was like, that's not natural.
No, it's not.
Because I've seen, like, I was really into this when I was a kid. Right. I've told you this. But I've seen the footage of them doing it. And it's exactly how you describe it. It looks borderline like
insane.
They have downs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? And if you're not told to do that, that's not a natural reaction.
You pass out.
Exactly, because your natural reaction is you want to breathe in the air. You're like, I'm struggling to breathe, so I'm going to breathe in more air. But you're fighting against yourself when you do that. Yeah. So that's why they do those weird, like, and it's It's a full thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's cool that you're taught to do it and you managed to actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I imagine a lot of people, even if they're told to do it, their first time they're not gonna get it.
He said you're not bad, but he's like, I have no connections to the army, so like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be. Remember last podcast I was telling you a lot of these Air Force guys make pilot programs and stuff like that.
I think so, briefly.
Yeah. So a lot of Air Force and Navy guys retire and make like pilot and boating programs.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And this simulation was actually a private area.
I believe that.
There's
yeah.
a lot of
Makes sense.
a lot of these things.
I
out
imagine
there.
there's more in San Diego. There's some here, but I imagine there's way more in San Diego. I went to
Perfect weather to fly.
Langley, Fort Langley Airport, like that one over there. They have a ton of these small little mom and pop shop flight schools, and a lot of them are basically either ex-army guys or ex like commercial guys who just set up like a school so they can teach.
Yeah. And that would have been cool, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure, man.
22 years old, just a rock star with your cock out.
That's basically what Top Gun is, and that's what Top Gun was for a lot of people. Everyone saw that movie, and they're like, "Oh fuck, man, how cool would it be to like fucking get on a motorcycle?" And fucking, yeah, that whole thing. It's the whole vibe.
Except I'd want to be taller than 5'5".
Yeah.
With fucking stilettos. This guy. Give me some last words, man. Give me some positive vibes.
I think you gave out
As a man of God.
I think you gave out some pretty good advice at the end there. Legit good advice. Like if anyone was listening to that and was in a similar situation to what we described, doesn't have to be exact, but even similar, I think it's an option to consider for a lot of people that may not have thought of it before. Because a lot of people are now finally starting to listen to this whole idea of, okay, trades are legit trades are legit opportunity for me. Versus before they're like, that's like a last resort. For a lot of people, trades are starting to become more and more of a first choice. After years of people like pushing it, be like, listen guys, this is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like, these are good skills. You'll make decent money. Like don't look down on it kind of thing, which I think is great. So if we finally moved on to that, maybe people are ready to start accepting that too.
Abso-fucking-lutely, guys. Make sure to subscribe, you fucking savages. Funny But Foul Podcast. Funny But Foul everywhere else. Spotify, Apple Podcasting, YouTube. Fucking TikTok too, man. And our second channel on TikTok, Funny But Foul 2. Keep those advices coming in and going out hard.